Good morning. This is Mona, and this is my morning view. Today, summer edition 2025, I believe it is August 29th. Yes, August 29th, and it is Fiesty Friday. Now, I don't have a whole lot of feisty in me. I have been fighting this flu for a week. So I'm going to try to get through it without coughing too much. Do have some cough drops out here, so if I need to pop one in my mouth, I'll go for it. My throat kind of hurts. It's not sore throat, it's muscle throat hurt. Just from the sheer coughing has, caused muscle pain. And there's tenderness in my neck and glands because they're not swollen, but they're tender. So yeah, I don't have a sore throat, but I do have a lot of coughing and sore as in muscle stress. That's the type of Feisty Friday I'm having. Oh, I was there last week. If you remember, if you've been watching me. So, today, Feisty Friday. Feisty Friday is the day that I can complain, which I did on Wednesday when I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to give God glory, honor, praise, gratitude, thankfulness. And I did, amongst the complaining about this flu. I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday or Wednesday. It wouldn't be Wednesday because I went to the doctor. But my mother-in-law and my daughter, we all have the same symptoms. And my daughter was with my mother-in-law on Monday last week. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I was with my daughter. And then my daughter got sick. Well, my mother-in-law got sick first, somewhere around Tuesday or Wednesday. And then Thursday, my daughter got sick. Thursday night, I started to get a cough. And then Friday, I got full-blown sick. And we all went to different doctors, and we all got different diagnoses and different ways of dealing with it. So there's that. All right. Enough of that feistiness. That's not what I'm going to talk about today. I'm not going to talk about my complaining about being sick. I just want to let you know that, yeah, it's still there. I could really use some prayers of declaration of health for me. If you're gonna do woe is me prayers, don't want them. But declarations of health, absolutely. So, fear of the Lord. That's come up a couple of times. I put some in my notes. I've heard some since then. You know, there's this differing spaces of fearing, and we just finished a book, Hind's Feet in High Places, and it has the fearing family. So the word fear is it's kind of like the word love. You know, we love pizza, we love our dog, we love our children, we love our spouse, we love God. God loves us. There's a level of love in each one of those, and that is different. And fear is in that same boat. It's a word that doesn't really convey everything that it means. So you can fear God, as in you're afraid of Him. So Adam and Eve, when they partook of the fruit of the forbidden tree, tried to hide from God because they were afraid. Now, mind you, it says in the word that you cannot hide from God. There is no creature on earth that can hide from God. So he sees it. So when he's walking in the garden, he says, Adam, where are you? He wasn't talking about his physical being. Where are you? It was his heart. It was his soul. It was his... I have to switch this. Hold on. There I am. I'm holding my phone and a spider started crawling on my fingers while I'm talking about fear. And arachnids are not my favorite creature. And right now he's hiding from me. I have no plans of killing him. I just didn't want him crawling on me. So I don't know where he went. So anyways, fear. I like to hide from the spider. Okay, so please don't crawl on me, little spider. Where is he? Duh! Nothing like making it real. R-E-A-L. Yes. Okay. Spiders have their place. That's why I don't kill them unless they're poisonous to me. Things like brown recluse and black widows, I don't put up with that. They're gone. So anyways, talking about fear. So there's this fear of that man has because they want to hide themselves from God and not hide physically, even though Adam was hiding physically and had made some leaves, an outfit of leaves, because it was like, I'm naked. I can't show God that I'm naked. Why? God created you. God created you a naked being. You know, so what were you trying to hide, knowing that you were naked from God? And it's really that sin. The sin was trying to be hidden. And, you know, leave it to man to think of something completely different than the actual problem. I'm naked, I have to cover up. You have now sinned, and you're trying to divert the sin to something else. So, fearing God, hiding from God. We can fear a bear. We can fear fire. I have issues with fire because I have been caught in a situation where I've had third-degree burns on my hand. My hair burnt, and I had deep second-degree burns, and many months of healing, and even years, even after the skin grew over. If I even tapped my hand, it would start to bleed. And so there are certain things that I'm afraid of, like cooking with grease. Well, that's what caused the fire. So that's why I have a problem with that particular type of fire. I have a fear of working with gas stoves, because I was cooking oil on a gas stove when it exploded. So it's this thing that, you know, I'm very leery of it. So there's a fear there. Now, we don't need to be afraid of things. I've talked about that pendulum. You're not afraid to, oh my goodness, you're afraid, you know. You get hurt here, you're like, I'll swing it all the way over here. Oh, the prophetic is so wonderful. Oh, I got hurt. No, the prophetic is evil. It's not from God. Yeah, that's this pendulum that goes like this, and there's a plumb line in the center. And so when we're afraid of a bear, I have bears that live in the woods around me. I've had bears that have climbed over that fence and stolen my bird feeders, my suet feeders, and broken my bird feeders and eaten them. And we constantly are trying to find ways where the bear can't get them. And so, you know, I'm not afraid of bears. We've had bears with cubs come within 10 feet of our fence, you know, and for some that can be very, very scary. They just want to make sure that their cubs are safe. If you show that you are not aggressive to their cubs, they're pretty much fine. Here, I would not try that in grizzly country. No. Okay. Black bears can be unpredictable, so you need to have a healthy fear of them. Don't go cuddling up with a big old teddy bear. Don't do it. The fear factor within us that God created in our brains for fight, flight. Those are those flight moments. Okay? It is wisdom not to go hug the bear. Right? So fire warms us. Fire can look absolutely beautiful in its containment. But we've had forest fires here in our area in multiple years in a row. And it's to the point that now we have to have a permit in order to have a fire pit. And they have to come out and inspect it to make sure it is within code before you are allowed to have a fire, which we have not done yet, but, you know, there's still time. We have one more week before school starts and one more month before fall starts. We might not get to it this year. All right. So anyways, fire can be beautiful, but it needs to be respected. So there's a fear, a healthy fear that is placed in us. There's a fear of, spiders. Okay, because there are some spiders that are poisonous. There is a fear of snakes because snakes can be poisonous. We have eastern timber rattlers in this area. I am not sure if there's copperheads or any of that up here. I'm not positive, or water moccasins. I've heard both sides. I have not seen any. But then again, I haven't seen any timber rattlers where I'm at either, because we have big, huge rat snakes. And the rat snakes, they take care of timber rattlers. So just like the king snake, a rat snake is handy to be around. But you don't want to go and cuddle with it. No, you don't want to go and cuddle with it because they can still bite you. And a bite from any animal can cause an infection. Right? So there's this space where there's innate things that are inside our brain that says, don't play with that. You can be burned. Don't shove a fork into the socket. You can be shocked. So there's a certain level of fear that is helpful. But then there's fear that grips you, that freezes you, that immobilizes you, that keeps you from moving forward. The fear of the bear. I don't want to go into the woods because I might run into a bear. And then you don't get to enjoy the woods. I fear fire, so I never want to see the beauty and the warmth of a fire in a fireplace or in a fire pit. I've been burned in a relationship, so I don't want to go into a relationship. I'm afraid of being burned again. These fears that immobilize us So you have a healthy fear, and there's an unhealthy fear. And B, please go away. Thank you. I got attacked by bees when I was a kid. Not honeybees. I got attacked by yellow jackets. And I get really panicky if they are in my face. So, all right. So, there's fear. We should not be afraid. I almost jumped. R-E-A-L. So now I get to enjoy a little dragonfly on my arm. So we have fear that is healthy, and we have fear that is unhealthy. And fearing the Lord, as in you are afraid, so you hide from him, is different than fearing the Lord. And this is where the word is really not helpful in our translation. And that is the awe. The awe of God. When you fear God, you are in awe. I mean, have you ever come across somebody that you had, put up on a pillar somewhere and kind of worshipped a little bit, you idolized them, and you saw them in reality? You actually physically got to see them, and you were like, wow, I am standing with this person. Wow. I don't even know what to say, because I'm undone. I've heard of people doing that. I don't know of any human being that would happen to me with. Yeah. I mean, I might not know what to say only because I don't know what to say, but not because I'm afraid to say it. Not because I'm just undone and awestruck by a human being. I'm not. That I know of. That I can't think of one person, one human being that I would be awestruck to be around. There might be people from the past, like Elijah or Elisha. Hold on. I had to put my charger in because I only had 5%. And I need 2 hands to do this because I can't hold the phone up because because the charger's plugged in it. Alright, so the awe of God. Being afraid of God in this sense of undoneness. I mean, how many times in the Bible they, even just seeing an angel, they fell on their face. And the angel was like, get up. Or what appeared to possibly be Jesus when I think it was Daniel that saw him and went prostrate to the ground. That you can't even stand in his presence. Your knees get weak and you just fall to the ground and just... It's not a frozen out of fear in the sense of you're afraid and you want to hide, as much as it is this awe and I'm speechless and I can't even stand in your presence because it is just so amazing and so wonderful. And it could be a little bit of fear because you are not worthy to stand in His holiness. You are, because Jesus made you that way. Jesus has made you worthy to come boldly to the throne room of God. But we, in our heads, are thinking, I am so not worthy. I know I have spoken the F-bomb a couple of times, this month, and possibly this week, or possibly this day, or I was angry at my brother, not my physical brother, but, our brothers in Christ, or our sisters in Christ. I was angry with them, and so I said things that weren't of God, because they tore down, they did not build up. And you recognize this, not as a condemnation, but you recognize it, and it's like, oh, I'm not even worth it. So the noise started. Fear God rather than fear man. So a lot of times we are afraid of men more than we are of God. And He says, don't fear men who can kill your flesh, because you know what? That's all they can do. But fear God, who can take your soul. So when you think about it in that sense, it's like there needs to be a healthy respect there. Kind of like the bear. You don't think that you can just cuddle up with the bear, because they may appear minding their own business and doing their own thing. Right? Just because they're present and within reach of, within 10 feet. I've had a bear walk by me about 3 feet. Could care less. I didn't know it. I didn't know it until after he passed. I was like, what? Ah! Bear got that close to me, he could have ate me. Thank goodness he wasn't a grizzly. So in that sense, we need to fear God as a healthy respect for Him. We fear God with awe. We fear God, who we cannot hide from, because He's so intimate that He knows every hair on our head. Fear the Lord, not man. Fear the Lord with healthy respect, awe. Do not fear the Lord and try to hide. All right, that is my morning view. Blessings, everybody. Have a great day. And I will see you probably... Oh, you know what? I probably will do one on Monday, even though it's a holiday, because it is the last of the Lord's Prayer. And after that, I'm starting school. Not going to school. I work at a school. So, because I work at a school and we're starting next week, Monday will be the last day that I want to close out that series before the school year starts. All right. Blessings, everybody. Have a great day. Don't forget to go to YouTube. Mona E. Harrison. Different than my Facebook profile. Mona E. Harrison. Go over there. You'll see my white hair, my beautiful face, and subscribe. Subscribe and go back and look at some of those other things, like the series on Mondays, the Lord's Prayer, or Tips Tuesday, or thirsty thinking Thursday. Yesterday's was a bit rough with being sick, but, you know, kind of like today's, it's been a bit rough. All right. And subscribe, hit notifications, and both here and on Facebook, like, share, and comment. All right. Blessings, everybody. Have a great day. See ya.